Good evening, everyone. This is Philsov, and this is the very first video in the Gallione Division of the Final Fantasy Tactics 1.3 2013 AI Tournament. That's an incredibly long name. This would be FFTA's division. However, he is out because he is not a elite hacker, so I am filling in. So, first up, this is Team Dark Souls versus Surrender or Die. Look at these teams real quick. Dark Souls is headed up by Dark Angel. They'll be in the black, consisting of Dark Knight the Knight, Chuckable Gun, a Geoshield, Regenerator, kind of a, even though he has White Magic and 50 Faith. Lancer, also with Geoshield, Jump Item, Equip Axe, although no axe equipped. Summoner. This Summoner right here, I think, wins the Red Mage Award. It is a female with a power sleeve and a bow and punch art. It's just all over the board. It has 60 faith. It's freaking awesome. And then we have Dark Samurai, the Samurai. Pretty standard build. In-Kai Armlet to prevent Charm, notably. 12 MA, very much of a draw-out bot with Concentrate. Meanwhile, we have Robosectual's team, consisting of this dude, the Chemist. Precision secondary means he can Heartache strike from 8 panels away for devastating status. Barrier and defense up for decent sandbagging and move HP up. The Fool, the Summoner, not much about her. She's 17 MA, short charge, crit quick, and 2 sources of magic that will hopefully just obliterate things. Black Goblin. Not much here. Revive, Goblin Punch. So if he gets recently revived, he can just click something off for 300 plus health. And then a Minotaur, which also just goes into this whole scheme of killing them with monsters as well. Their very first fight is going to be in map number 91, and that is Thieves' Fort. So best of luck to both of y'all. Once again, Dark Souls, Dark Angel is in the black, and Surrender or Die, Robosexual is in the white. So one's playing Team Ramza, one's kind of playing Team Luda here. First action goes to the Lancer, who immediately jumps up top and does absolutely nothing. Goblin then moves forward for a little bit, marred by his high defense. Minotaur kind of running to the back of the crew instead of going forward. Don't know what was up with that. Anyway, 77% Heartache Strike works, and oh, the Lancer has just been charmed. Oh, that is devastating. It did trigger Dragon Spirit though. Summoner is charging some sort of buff onto her party, while we have some light damage getting thrown to the Black Goblin. As a carbunk onto the whole team. Yeah, I love to spam this because defending is a wonderful status, and Reflect as well will defend them against, or not defend them against Odin, but it will at least defend them against incoming magics. Whatever. Charmed Lancer does all of 88 damage. She's a female. The damage, Goblin seeks revenge onto the Summoner. Does not work. Goblin Punch fails. Minotaur again moving forward. Chuckable Gun gets broken. 144 damage onto that Lancer. So Samurai moves forward and does nothing as well. Ugh. White Team Robosexual is very much in the lead here. They're getting very much in position. Lancer is now confused as well, prompting the Red Mage Summoner to do a Stigma Magic and retreats. Minotaur finally getting within melee range, has a below 50% chance, does work. Lancer is down to critical. She does have re-raise, and she heals herself up with an X potion. So 90 HP healing there, runs away. Damage back Goblin, again, Goblin Punch, 115 damage, misses, 72%, does not work. Samurai does some straight melee, which gets the double stab proc on top of that. Some moderate damage onto that Minotaur, 144 damage onto the Goblin. He, I think, is down to critical right now. If not, he's very, very low. Double panel Salamander hitting Samurai and Lancer. 211 damage from the glass cannon Summoner there. Lancer misses it though, and Chemist misses. I believe that was a Heartache stab. Summoner going for an execute on that Goblin. Ooh, Minotaur goes and kills that little Lancer? Yeah, kills the Lancer. Here's the Shiva onto the Goblin, who dies as well. Lancer's down to critical. Once again, heals herself back up. Very much of a losing battle here. She can get Earth Slashed or whatever the new Minotaur thing is for more than her health. 120 damage onto the Summoner. She is alive, although she's a glass cannon. She still can't survive both a gunshot and a stab. Her AT ticks over though, so this Phoenix time is a little bit futile. She's going to die again before she probably gets a turn here. So here is a summoner coming out, 168 damage, killing off that summoner real quick. Lancer moving forward, going for Phoenix down. Minotaur probably gonna kill that summoner again before she gets in action. And once again, dead summoner. So we have dead summoners on both sides now. Knight going for a 48 cure onto the female summoner. So now Minotaur is now seeking after that high damage Lancer. Phoenix down to the summoner once again from the chemist. Female summoner moves forward, goes after Robosexual's summoner. She has all of 1 HP, can't block that 70 damage, she's down. Chemist takes some splash damage as well. They're now going after Robosexual's chemist. Looks like Dark Knight definitely has the upper hand here. Chemist, again, stuck in a sandbag loop. He's resin this summoner, and she's just gonna die via AoE once again. Summoner moves forward, yeah, more splash damage. A cure onto the summoner again, all of 48. So here's the double panel Odin, which certainly hits the summoner and does more splash damage onto the chemist. He's taken 2 hits of summon so far, 120 damage from the draw outs. No barrier in sight. He is definitely down to critical. 49% revive coming out of female knight. Chemist goes and heals himself instead of rezzing up the summoner, so does full life work though. 400 something damage onto the female Lancer. I can't tell, stupid camera. We'll find out in a second. 74. Oh, Lancer is up. All of 420 damage. Blow Fire gets guarded thanks to that Aegea shields. Another Heaven's Cloud onto that Chemist. Chemist is down to critical once again between the move HP up and the X potion. I believe that's about 120 HP right there. But here's 96. Even though he has defense up, he can't stand against that. 88 damage tab onto the Minotaur. He is now protected and shelled. Lancer runs away and picks up the High Ether. Looks like the Goblin crystallized. So they are, Team Robosexual is now down. It's a permanent 3-on-4. And there is the 48 damage Wind Slash bow out of that summoner. Minotaur going to Berserk and does not work against that female Lancer. It's all in 22%. That didn't have a high chance anyways. But he has no range. That was his only thing to do. So now they're just poking at him. 55 damage. He is all that remains from Robosexual's team. And he's just getting nickel and dimes. 69 damage, 55 damage, 48 damage. Yeah, it's Protect and Shell won't save you against the onslaught of 4 melee-ish female characters. Blow Fire onto the summoner, one last finger to Robo, and then here's the Heaven's Cloud to execute, surrender or die. They chose to die here. So that was the small map. Dark Angels won this round, and let's see what round 2 has in store for us. Moving on to round 2 between Dark Souls and Surrender or Die, aka Dark Angel versus Robosexual here in the Gallione Division. The first round, Dark Souls won thanks to the 1-2 combo of unevadable Drought, Heaven's Cloud doing all 120 damage, and a Chocobo Gun wielding Knight. Pretty much did a 1-2 nasty combination onto a majority of their people with some, a little bit of pepper damage from, you know, a Lancer and a Summoner along the way. Also with some awesome bow action from a female Summoner as well. So, this is the large map now, Mandalia Plains. Let's see if Dark Angel can go for a twofer, or if Robosexual comes out ahead. This is, again, the large map, so here, if a team has a very high movement/speed disparity, they will definitely get separated here, kind of Leroy Jenkins themselves, and they get mauled in the process. So here in a large map, the team that has the most similar speed/move is the one that usually better suited here. Lancer looks like it has 3 speed, Knight has 4 speed, 3 and 4 speed, slows pretty much everywhere. No one's really especially high speed or has especially high mobility. So everyone is staying good and clustered, which for the purpose of, you know, draw out and summon magic isn't the best thing, but it does prevent that one lone unit. Carbuncle misses on the Goblin. Everyone else is defending and gets reflect. Not that anything really gets reflected from Dark Angel's team. Everyone's just moving into position. Chemist is staying one step behind the monsters. He has throw items, so he's able to stay at least within 4 panels and still be perfectly fine to do all of his rezzing duties. Summoner, meanwhile, a little more charging forward, splits off, does a Chain Lightning, which hits the Samurai for 105 damage. We got First Blood right here. Lancer counters that, dealing 130 damage jump onto the less than 200 HP Summoner. And the Samurai is Berserk. She is a female, and so her melee is worse than her draw. This is very much of a boon for Robosexual. Some female knight charges something, and it doesn't matter because that knight is now asleep thanks to 77% Heartache Strike. Berserk Samurai moving forward, 144 damage, triggering Barrier, just in time for the summon to resolve. Putting 32 damage onto the Summoner, she just takes it, and here comes Odin for light damage onto both of them, 115 and 57 damage respectively, which will then probably prompt a Moogle. Anyways, Goblin Punch, once again, misses. It has yet to hit this entire set of matches, and the Charging Summoner gets one shot and killed, because, you know, she's charging and can't evade. Blowfire into the female Samurai, so there's no cures coming to either of the monsters. Chemist is in a sandbag with the Summoner. She has 60 CT right now, so she may get an action before... wait, never mind. Here comes another Odin, I suppose, onto the Summoner, which will definitely kill her again. Goblin now going for straight up tackle, avoiding the Goblin Punch. Samurai is down to critical. Yep, Odin resolves before Summoner even gets a turn. Summoner dies once again. Chemist took some splash damage. No love there. Chemist gets stabbed, 55 damage. Not a lot of damage, but he's not able to... I think he has Barrier. Whatever. Chemist move HP, summon that damage away, revives up the Summoner. This female Samurai got dropped thanks to the monster combo. And we once again have that sleeping knight in the corner, who is still out of commission. Robo's Summoner charges a Shiva, doing splash damage. Chemist finally guards one of these summons, but Summoner still goes down, and we're dealing some light damage here. 169 damage onto the female knight. She gets woken up, triggering a Regenerator, and now she's back in the game. Very worse off from the Minotaur, and 115 damage. Goblin Punch once again misses! We're having horrible luck with this. Chemist going for revival onto his own Summoner. We have some more, I believe, Odin or Shiva onto everything. Some stabby onto the Chemist, 55 damage onto him. 169 damage Blowfire, I believe that's more than his own melee. Triggering Auto Potion, but it doesn't really matter. One more hit out of him will definitely kill the Summoner once again. Odin drops both Summoner and the Chemist, so after all that splash damage and revival, there's just nothing they can do about it. Both the monsters are still alive. Black Goblin can revive, but I've yet to see him do any of that stuff. Full life out of the recently awoken female knight gets charged into the Samurai. That fails this time. So still... Oh, that Summoner is almost completely out of MP. And almost no MP. I believe she's going to cure herself right here, but no chance for that. 168 damage, petrification chance, doesn't really matter. She gets dropped before she gets turned to stone. 39 damage, counter throw, negates the Regenerator anyways, and now we have a 200 damage Goblin Punch, 46% chance. It does not work. Female Samurai has turned into a chest. She's down for the count. That is a 2-on-2 people, 2 monsters versus a Lancer and a Knight. Everyone is separated, so Gun will definitely win against the Goblin, and the Lancer knows how to revive, and the Minotaur doesn't know how to AoE, so he's on the losing side of this equation right here. He can, unless he has a massive speed advantage, the Lancer just gonna keep on rezzing up Summoner, and by the time that Knight makes her way over, she will begin to deal with the Minotaur. In the meantime, here's some more Resurrection, here's some more killing, and this poor Summoner is getting mauled here. Chemist has turned into a chest, Summoner has turned into a chest. Here's a full life onto the Summoner. If this works, the Minotaur cannot one-shot her. Low chance of happening, and it doesn't. So Lancer moves forward a little bit, blocking the Minotaur maybe? And so Minotaur moves forward a little bit, going for a Earth Shake thing, 50% chance because she has Magic Evasion, and he misses. So it is now 3-on-1. Gun, 140 damage. Minotaur is onto his last legs here. He's on his knees. Ooh comes up. A little bit of a taunt. Some light healing. He can still one-shot whatever he wants. Here comes the Lancer, 55 damage, his 47 HP. He's down for the count. So, even on a large map, Dark Soul still beats Surrender or Die. Congratulations to Dark Angel. You'll be getting a whole bunch of points. And Robosexual, see you next round. Hello again, this is Philsov. I'm taking over for FFTA. This is the Gallione Division, Ratch number 2. Between the Avengers and Tentacles are for Cuddling. The Avengers are hosted by Peter W. and a whole bunch of numbers I don't feel like pronouncing. He will be the blue team. And then we have Tentacles for Cuddling, headed up by Seijin, and she is going to be in the black. Alright, so looking at the teams real quick. This is Peter's team. Geomancer, Gia Shield, Dracula Mantle, very high magic evasion with counter magic, defense up, move HP up. He'll probably aim to get some of the splash damage going on here, and then counter that very furiously with a Mithril Sword, Gia Shield combo. Superboy the Knight, again, very high magic evasion with counter flood this time. Very prone to magic countering. We have Batgirl the Chemist, auto potion and precision, so once again we have 8 range heartache strikes happening here. And then we have Wonder Girl the Priest, P-Bag, Magic Ring, pretty much your basic support unit able to throw out hastes and heals and bury herself or something. Then we have Team Tentacles are for Cuddling, which has both a Marlboro and an Ochu, consisting of tentacles and more tentacles. They both are able to do Bad Breath, which we're somehow calling Bad Bracelet here for whatever reason. But if I recall correctly, it is a 0 vertical tolerance skill, so depending on the map selection, it can either heavily hurt or heal the opposition. And to back his her two tentacles up, 2 rezzers. First is a Chemist with a Chocobo Gun, Talk skill secondary, defense up CT save. And then we have Sarah, a Priest, and Time Magic with auto potion and short charge, very similar to Peter's Priest, Wonder Girl. I hope I don't confuse this whole Chemist Priest thing, and I probably will because blue and black look kind of similar. Anyways, first up, it is a small map. We're going to map number 103, which is the Windmill Shed. So best of luck to both Peter and Seijin. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name here. So, blue team here on this side of the Windmill Shed, then we got the Tentacle team on the other side. First move's coming out of the Geomancer, who I believe has 8 speed? Yeah, everyone on this, both sides have 8 speed here, so mobility, range, not the highest on both teams here. Everyone has 8 speed, they're all kind of going in staggered positions. Everyone's just moving up into position. 79% Heartache Strike right off the bat, triggering a confusion onto one of the Marlboros, which then quickly gets remedied away. Floating Priest is up, goes for a double panel haste onto both herself, as this Wonder Girl does the exact same thing. So first haste resolves, misses on the Chemist, hits the Priest. That's really gonna cost the Tentacles are for Cuddling team. Double panel haste onto the blue team, however. Because she is hasted, another Heartache Strike, another confusion onto that poor little Marlboro. Priest is up this time because she's hasted, going for a Suna. Hopefully it'll resolve before the Marlboro has to act. Single panel haste onto the Geomancer as well. These hastes are kind of cascading now because the Priest was free. Geomancer's up, goes for a 105 Hell Ivy onto that poor little Priest. She has 230 HP, so thankfully 2 elementals will not kill her, but it's going to be pretty darn close. Tentacle, 72 damage. Geomancer gets hit once, and then a Goo, 42% don't act, which does work onto the Knight, who then begins to just frantically run away. Chemist chooses to not heal up her little friend, goes for a gunshot onto the Geomancer instead with no reaction. Here comes the X potion to negate that gunshot pretty well. And now we have a 35% chance of something damaging getting cast into the Geomancer. Don't know why we do that in the face of significant magic evasion. But whatever, here comes another elemental to your face. Down to critical, no stop proc. Triggering auto potion, however. So he did all of, and redirection as well. Yeah, he did 15 damage and he redirected Demi 2 to heal her friend and miss himself because he has high magic evasion. Suna, the Knight, is cured of his paralysis. Now the Team Tentacles are going after the Chemist instead. She auto potions away essentially one of them, and also gets hit by a Goo. 63% chance does not work. So we have an Earth Slash, which heals up the Chemist and damages both of the Marlboros at the exact same time. Great use of AoE and Magic Ring right there out of Peter. The two both the priest and chemist out of Seijin are separated significantly and now don't move from their two tentacly counterparts. Meanwhile, hey, a leather vest! Most of Peter's team is in the back. The Geomancer is only just moved forward some. We now have one berserked Marlboro, so he was trying to inflict a whole bunch of don't acts, and we have got to see a bad breath here, but never will, because he's just going to be furiously tentacling things now, as we have some more cures out of everyone involved, and some more hastes out of Peters. Another double panel Earth Slash out of the Hasted Knight. He got his double turn right there, 200 plus damage onto both of them. We have a bad breath, Petrify, Confusion, Darkness, and the Berserked goes for 198 damage to Tentacle, which works through her 70% evasion. McDaravon onto the Geomancer. If that would have worked, it was a massive turnaround for Tentacles. Instead, we get a guarded melee slash. Petrification gets cured, so much for that bad breath. Something lethal again gets charged onto the Geomancer. More Earth Slash healing, 315 damage. I love you, best compat. And then we have something getting charged onto the Knight, but he's going to evade it. Demi 2 works this time. So we have Nasuna, which cures nothing, and the poison. Don't Move wears off on Seijin's Priest. And then the Leak will negate the Regen, Berserk, Confusion, and Darkness off the Ochu. He does another bad bracelet, hitting only both of Peter's units. We have one Petrified Confused Frog and one just Confused Frog. That may have been it right there. The Priest does know as soon as she can cancel both of those in a single action, assuming they don't get the chance first. Geomancer misses once again. Confused Knight runs away from his friend. They can no longer be double panel healed. Regenerator props. Wonder Girl decides to go after her chemist friend first. Probably a good call because she can, remedy things. But she immediately gets it. Well, she gets revived. She does not get her immediate turn. Seijin's Priest moving away from the Geomancer now, back toward her little friends. Chemist now going for a remedy onto the Frog Knight, who is still a frog and therefore gets hit for 173 damage, but he blocks it anyways because he has a mantle. And Frog with mantles works. Bad Breath, doing a slurry of things, including bad stuff onto her own Marlboro. I think it's just a silence, though. Cast Frog on the Knight again. The Knight has just been unfrogged, thanks to Bad Breath. Let that settle for a second. 324 damage. That is, again, good compat between these two teams. Knight is still at 150 HP, does a Spin Fist, which kills the Floating Priest. So Seijin's Chemist is gonna take care of that real quick with her immediate turn and her haste. Sarah gets her own turn, and then moves up. One Marlboro, now 117 damage onto the Knight. Knight is down to critical. Gets counterfled and a stop proc. Ochu hopefully going to finish off this Knight here. 76%. It does work. He is down. So we have a Petrified Frog. I believe she's only critical. Let's look at this real quick. No, she's asleep. Even worse. Geomancer is the only one able to do anything, and he chooses to go after a Pitfall for less than lethal damage. Chemist X-Potioning most of that elemental away. And she loses her haste. Sarah now going for some AoE healing here, but it's not going to work. We have a Bad Breath onto the Geomancer now. He is just poisoned, no big deal. He can shrug that off, no problem. But Sarah is healing herself. Peter, I don't see you winning this at all. They're sandbagging against... Oh, immediate turn out of the Knight, shackering himself. He's up to 100 health. Tentacle can kill him with a one-shot, but instead we're going to go after a 96 damage onto the Geomancer instead, who gets a Demi 2 charge onto him, 35% chance for that to work. Tentacle onto the Knight, less than his current health, he dies. Demi 2, of course, gets guarded, and I believe Seijin's Priest is now completely out of MP here. This may be bad. Wish onto the Knight, who again gets his turn, chakras himself, and will probably get tentacled once again, unless he somehow evades it. 96 damage gunshot onto the Geomancer, and if he keeps on wishing, this is not going to go in his favor. Or here's, a Bad Breath onto both of them! Confusion, Darkness, Frog, something. Here's the Demi 2 onto the Priest. He's a frog. He runs away. And dies the poison. We have a dead, confused frog thing. Asuna onto the Petrified Frog, and here's a Bad Breath onto the Priest. She gets Oil and Darkness, no huge deal. Gets Asuna all of it away anyways. So now the Chemist and Priest are both up. We have a Killer Frog on loose, doing all of 9 damage. And here comes a gunshot onto the priest. She dies once again. And so now the chemist has traded spaces. Kinnical onto the little froggy. Froggy's dead. It's now 4-on-1. Chemist is stuck in a sandbag loop. The tentacles are descending upon this poor, helpless little female priest. Death by bat. Well, they can't even kill him with bad breath. Whatever. And then we have 2 petrified frogs. Alright, so Team Status certainly won this one. And let's see if Peter can redeem himself in round 2. Okay, in the last round, Tentacles are for Cuddling. Cuddle the crap out of the Avengers until the Avengers fell in terms of becoming petrified, poisoned, confused frogs of sleepiness. But here we are at a large map. We're going to Delta, and let's see if this holds anything better for dear Peter. Or if Seijin will just continue her tentacle little rampage across all the cute little priests and chemists. A lot of large gaps in this map, which is not the most conducive thing for bad bracelets. I believe this map right here is very much advantageous toward Peter. Tentacles are up first, everyone at their 8 speed and low mobility, just kind of slowly moving toward each other. Priest is going for a double panel haste onto both her and the chemist, while Peter's priest does exactly the same thing. This time we get haste onto both Seijin's and Peter's. Alright, so we got double haste on both sides, on both the chemist and the priest. First blood, 79% Heartache Strike misses onto the first Marlboro, so good luck there. Then we have a haste getting charged onto one of the Marlboros and to one of the knights. 84% in both situations. Marlboro is hasted, and the knight is as well. So we have 3 people hasted on both sides. Hasted Marlboro goes first, and here comes the knight, again doing absolutely nothing. GMS moving forward goes for a sandstorm. That is going to be the dominant type here, which I believe causes blindness, which is pretty benign here. Marlboro moving off to the side for whatever silly reason he does, and once again 79% Heartache Strike. Don't act onto the Marlboro, who then frantically flees. Yeah, with this 8-panel strike, Heartache Strike, she is able to kite a little bit, that little chemist. Getting an Asuna charged onto the Marlboro while we have some light pepper damage getting hit onto the Ochu. Don't act does get cured as the haste begin to wear off everywhere. Ochu moves forward again and goes for a straight melee 68% onto the knight, triggering counter flood for 72 damage. Ocho's not onto about half health. Straight up Chocobo gun to the face, 144 damage. She triggers barrier. The priest is definitely down to half health. I don't know if another Chocobo shot will kill her or not, though, even with now that she has protect. We'll see, though. Marbo going for a bad breath, which avoids his friend thanks to vertical tolerances. The knight is now petrified, and so he gets a soft thrown his way instead, retaining his haste. So this will be the knight going for an Earth Slash, hitting both of them, 133 damage once again. Wonder Girl not gonna try to get shot in the face, instead she's going to rejuvenate herself and run away. She's back up to max. Sarah the Priest lagging behind a little bit, probably going for some cure onto the Ochu. He had taken 2 Earth Slashes to the face for 260 some odd damage, so a cure and a heal. Alright, so he's back up to 300-ish health. Triple panel bad breath. Double panel bad breath. One gets guarded, and the other one only causes darkness out of the night, and that's not good. Here's a local quake, charging a confusion onto the poor guy. So he is confused and definitely within enemy lines. Wave fist onto the other guy, 133 damage. Kind of ignoring the confused one. I don't blame him. He's not the largest threat right now. Kim is just shooting at the guy. He has Regenerator, but he can't deal with all these Earth Slashes and gunshots. Priest going for a multi-panel protect here, for whatever reason, that's not for haste. But 2 units do have protect, so never mind that whole tentacle thing that they have going on. Cure onto one of them, 105 damage, while the chemist moves forward and goes for a remedy, getting rid of that confusion as well. Both Marbles are up right now. Here comes the Ochu, who doesn't go for a triple panel bad breath. What the hell are you doing, AI? So instead we have that single panel bad breath right here, and now the chemist gets turned into a frog. Sorry for being biased here, Peter. Anyways, here comes the Sandstorm, which heals up the Chemist and deals some light damage, and then we have the Slash, which also heals the Chemist, and the Ochu is now down to critical. 3 damage. Chemist, she's a frog, but she's doing her part, and then she runs away and finds a power source. How thoughtful of her. And then here comes the Priest with the Execute, 39 damage. Oh, it doesn't work because she has a bag, 12 damage. Ochu is now at last, I'd say last leg, but it's an Ochu, but last tentacle, whatever. Sarah the Priest tasting herself up. Chemist going for a Mimic Darevon. She does not have Monster Talk, she can't hit her own units. So she sleeps one of the knights. Poor little critical tentacle thing, doing some melee, running away, regening up, significant amount of health here. Here comes the Marble with a follow-up tentacle into the barriered Priest. She's taken about 130 or so damage, and here's a Sandstorm to heal and hurt, respectively. And because she does have Shell, the healing from Elemental was not as significant either, so it goes both ways here. But this is also very fortunate for the magic ring. Peter has both Earth Slash and Elemental at his disposal and magic rings on his Chemist and Priest. So they get healed from a lot of this AoE. Asuna onto the Knight gets rid of that nasty little Mimic Darevon. Some healing coming out of this. Kind of a standstill right now. We have the support units very much hanging toward the back. And it's Bad Breath, Oil, Confusion, Petrify, Frog onto that Knight. He's pretty much down for the count. And here comes yet another tentacle onto the poor little Priest. So here's an Asuna, which doesn't go off anywhere. And then here's a Geomancer going for another Local Quake, which heals up and has a chance to confuse his own Priest here. This could very much backfire shortly. Chemist, however, is a frog. Knight is a frog, and petrified frog, no less, with oil and some other stuff. But Asuna is on the way, so he is cured of, I believe, everything. Immediately gets his turn, and he can now Earth Slash toward the Chemist, who then just, guards it. She counters with 216 damage gunshot. I believe that's best compat between the two of them. Sarah going for a self-haste. She can probably follow up with a double turn here on Demi 2 onto that Knight, which I believe will kill him. 126 damage tentacle, Knight is down to critical, and then the other Marlboro's going after Priest in the purest of melee fashions. Poor little Chemist, she's a frog, she's running away. Geomancer, 70 damage Elemental, which triggers a Confusion onto Seijin's Chemist. Priest runs off, is throwing in Asuna onto the Frogged Chemist. She's going to get back in the game. Knight heals himself for minimal damage. He gets staffed for 48 and counter floods for minimal damage. Asuna happily resolves. Peter's Chemist is back in the game, goes for a 79% Heartache Strike, which does work. We now have a confused Marlboro on our hands here, now with the confused Priest healing up Peter's, everything's just status in this match. Oh, so much status. Bad Breath, now we have a confused Knight as well. We have a Bad Breath from the confused hitting the Chemist. Let's look at this real quick. Hitting the Petrified Chemist, who was confused. We now have a confused Sleeping Priest Frog, and it missed on the Geomancer completely out of the confused Marlboro. And then we have something lethal getting charged onto the Knight. So back to the Geomancer. Geomancer goes for a heal, which will not wake up that frog. Whatever. Demi 2 misses, 68% does not work. The Knight could have been dead right now. Instead he goes to Spin Fist into nothing because he's confused as well. Maiden's Kiss onto the sleeping frog. Hopefully Geomancer will actually try and wake him up this time. Another Demi 2 onto the Knight, while the Ochu goes and tries to do something with his friend. Demi 2 once again misses. Confused Tentacle Monster, 135 damage, wakes up the Priest, so she is fully back in the game, and so she gets some Sandstorm healing for all of 84 damage now that her shell is worn off. She thanks the healing via Sandstorm with a haste, so Geomancer is now hasted, Confused Knight is confused, and he decides to shock himself again, which is still not going to be enough because DB2 will still kill him if it ever decides to connect. Heartache Strike onto the second Marlboro. He is now charmed. Heartache Strike is pretty much carrying Peter at this point. Asuna out of Seijin's Priest onto her Chemist will cure her of all what ails her. Moderately damaging Tentacle hits the Geomancer. Seijin's Chemist is back up. Geomancer decides to do some local quake action to the Geomancer again. No confusion this time, some more light damage. And Wonder Girl just keeps on throwing away those hastes wherever she pleases. First the Geomancer, now herself. Confused Knight, spin fisting, and it gets evaded anyways because he has confusion and therefore half accuracy. Chemist going for a remedy onto the Knights. Peter is very much back in the game here. All 4 units are hasted and alive and not confused, I think. Meanwhile, Seijin's Priest is most certainly getting out of mana here. She has all of 3 MP left. Marbo, he doesn't want a bad breath. This poor little chemist just wants to keep on tentacling her, and she just can cure herself away. She bag whacks him, and for all the 60 damage, just frantically trying to get him off. That sounded bad. And going for the Sandstorm onto the chemist. It's very benign damage, all of 70, triggering a CT save. But here comes the follow-up with, because that is the Charmed. Ugh. Poor Heartache Strike. Yeah, the Charmed Ochu just frogged his best friend Chemist. So here comes Peter's Chemist, who is free to do as she will. More Heartache Strike. 79% don't act onto the other Marlboro, and we have a Chemist who's just afraid to do anything because she's, you know, a frog. Lethal damage getting charged onto Sarah, who does absolutely nothing. Paralyzed Ochu also does nothing. Double panel cure. Curing up Sarah a little bit. Charm wears off on the Ochu, and it hits a Steel Needle because we already found the power source. Triple panel, Sandstorm, hitting all 3 of Seijin's units for moderate damage, triggering Regenerator onto one of them. He then decides to counter that with a Bad Breath, which gets guarded once again. Knight moving forward, going for a Wave Fist onto Sarah. She's taking some light damage, and here comes Batgirl, who decides to finally kill the Frog Chemist. Sarah, out of MP, resorting to straight melee, 32 damage. Wonder Girl says, I don't even care, I'm going to charge a wall into this Knight instead, because you are a complete non-threat to me right now. Paralyzed wears off from the Ochu just in time. He had to waste his turn, and then it wore off. Geomancer opts for straight melee, and then going for a goo now, which does work onto the Geomancer. 25% does work, he is now paralyzed. Wave Fist onto Sarah, Sarah is down. All 3 of Peter's units are probably now going to regroup toward the Geomancer. Heartache Strike onto the Ochu, misses. Wonder Girl, very low on MP as well, down to 29. Double panel haste. And don't acted, yeah. Oh, Marble does absolutely nothing. It was either Bad Breath himself, so he was pretty much stuck here because he can't go after anyone else. He just decided to wait. That's so sad. Batgirl is up. More Heartache Strike spam, more confusion. Pasted Wonder Girl moving forward. Knight's moving forward. Peter does have Chakra though, so he can heal up his own MP here. Lick onto the Ochus, so they're looking at each other, and somehow that's a good thing, because they're now free to do more gooing on each other. 39% gets guarded this time. Batgirl gives up on the Heartache Strike. 64 damage, 77 damage. Trigger Generator, but he's already taken 130 damage. He regens for, I don't know, 80 or so, 50, something in that range. Wall wears off onto the little Knight, who now moves forward as well. Wonder Girl, she's keeping up with these little hastes. I don't know why she's even bothering hasting herself. She just move forward, and once again gets Tentacle to the face for 90, hitting Barrier. More Heartache Strike. Alright, Sarah will be crystallizing here very shortly. Tentacles are for Cuddling. Oh, let's see, that was the Chemist. Yeah, so Sarah's down for the count, Chemist is down for the count, Siege is down to only her own 2 little Marlboros and the entirety of Peter's team. And her Priest just got a buttload of MP, so she is definitely back in the game here. Pretty much just a matter of time, I think, until... Oh, wait, never mind. Why did I have to say that? Oh, we now have a, you know, frog coming out of Bad Breath here, so Priest decides to not even bother running away. Earth Slash onto the Ochu, 133 damage. He is down to Can we kill this Geomancer? Oh, Geomancer's down to critical, 56 damage. Decides to defy pain instead. He could be going for straight just Zerg rushing, this poor little Ochu here. Paralyzed, Marlboro runs away. Chemist, again with a Heartache strike, 79%. It is now a Charmed. This is now a 5-on-1. Earth Slash onto the Ochu, 133 damage, down to critical. One more Elemental will kill the poor guy. 29 damage. No, wait, no, and Elemental won't. He just now has 80-something health. Lame. So here's the Elemental. Sandstorm, 70 damage. He's down to like 11 HP right now. One more Earth Slash and he's dead. My bad. Wonder Girl chilling in place. Charmed Marlboro decides to lick the Priest, curing her of Darkness, Frog, and Oil. Ochu does absolutely nothing. He just waits in place and then gets berserked via Heartache Strike, and then subsequently killed. That's one of the worst ways to kill somebody. Just berserk them and then kill. Ugh. Peter, your team is sadistic. But it is now 4 of all Peter's units onto the 1 Marlboro. Unless he gets off an incredibly lucky bad breath here. And considering how splinterous Peter's team is, I don't see that happening. But they're just gonna kind of wait in place and chill, wait for Charm to wear off, throw buffs around at each other in the meantime. So, double panel haste here, Knight Priest. Charm wears off on the Marlboro right as he gets a turn, finally doing a bad breath onto that Priest, who then gets poisoned and petrified, which then just gets Stigma magicked away. So now the Geomancer and Chemist are free to just pew-pew at the poor bastard. So here comes a little bit of local Quake, 70 damage, triggering Confusion, and now, because he's confused... Oh wait, no, never mind, Heartache Strike here, good. Now he's confused and slowed. Wonderful. Now he'll be ignored completely. I love the AI sometimes. Alright, so... No, never mind. Earth Slash, 133 damage. Let's kill this goddamn Ochu, finally. 70 damage, trigger generator. He's just getting nickeled and dimed here. Not much he can do. Peter's team is very spread out. Gunshot, 64 damage, and dead. Alright, it was a complete status fest, but Peter and Seijin are now 1-1. Let's go on to one final map. Here we are in round 3 of the Gallione Division between the Avengers and Tentacles are for Cuddling, aka Peter W versus Seijin. In the first round, Seijin won. In the second round, Peter won. So here we are in the third round in the main street of Lazalia. This is an incomplete map, so bear with me here. There's some of the graphics are sometimes not always light up where they're supposed to, but the action is going to be the same. This is a very flat map, so no separation will be happening like they did in the last match. Once again, Peter is in the blue, team the Avengers. All of his units move first, and then we have the Marlboros moving as well. Cool note about both their people. They have the Priest-Chemist combo, and the Priest always moves second. So, sorry, last. So no matter where everyone else's units are, she can always get at least one haste off on maybe herself if she, you know, has decent move. So instead we have a single panel haste versus a triple panel haste going on. The Heartache Strike from previous missed. So, I believe Peter's going to get another chance with the double turn Chemist to do another Heartache Strike before the Marlboros make their advance. Geomancer moves forward, goes for a Pitfall, which will be the main element here, inflicting a don't move onto the lead Marlboro. He cannot move forward and do a bad breath. This is wonderful news. Chemist now also going for a attack on the back one for 64 damage instead of a Heartache Strike. It will be negated by a region the second he gets a turn, though. So, lame. Priest going for more haste on both sides, this time hitting both her Chemist and her little Ochu right there. Meanwhile, the Knight lagging in the back gets hasted. So pretty much most of the units in this entire squad are hasted right now. Ochu does nothing, moves forward a little bit, then kind of ducks behind a alleyway, trying to not get seen or something. Another don't move proc, refreshing its duration. 7 damage on both those Marlboros as the Geomancer runs away. Ochu moves forward and is primed for a bad breath. Instead he goes for a goo, inflicting don't act onto the single Chemist because it is a lame monster. Double panel Earth Slash once again being the bane of Seijin here. Double regeneration, 133 damage, but it will definitely take its toll after a significant amount of time. Mimic Darevon, double panel, and it misses everything, sadly. Paralyzed Chemist runs away as the Priest looks like she's going to be going for an Asuna onto the don't moved Ochu. Priest also charging something, I believe another Asuna onto the known active Chemist, so all that proc stuff got negated. Haste wear off everywhere, Marlboro is up, and he decides to do absolutely nothing as Ochu now moves forward, goes for a Bad Breath, hitting 3 units. We have 2 Confusions and 1 Frog at least, and some minor stuff onto the Priest. Just an oil from the looks of it. So she gets shot at in the face instead, 144 damage. Confused Geomancer going for a heal onto the Chemist for absolutely nothing. More haste wear off. Chemist is able to heal up the confused knight, but he is still a frog, notably. Needs to do 2 items to negate the Bad Breath if you're a Chemist. Priest running away and deciding to, I would assume, cast Asuna onto the Geomancer. Yes, to the Geomancer, curing them a whole bunch of nasty stuff. More Bad Breath onto the Chemist. She is now a petrified poisoned frog, which is bad news. And then we have a not Bad Breath onto the now critical Priest. Tentacles are for Cuddling very much the advantage here. Knight begins to run away, which is also very bad news, and gunshot to the face for the protected Priest does not save her. So she is down for the count, and the Geomancer then decides to wish her up. She had like 84 CT, so she gets an immediate turn here, decides to cure herself and run away. So they are now separating themselves away from that Chemist, who is a confused frog. The odds of her somehow getting an Asuna here are even lower now. Sarah the Priest lagging behind. Just within arm's reach of her nearest tentacle buddy. That continues to frantically run away. Ochu moving forward, going for a double panel Bad Breath onto both Geomancer and even more petrified frogs. We have 3 petrified frogs, ladies and gentlemen. So now Tentacles are for Cuddling, I believe, has this one won here. And so there's double panel haste. They will now descend upon that lovely little frog of a knight, who now violently charges forward. He's the last unit left, so he was running away because he was a frog. Since he was the only unit left, he is now just going pure gung-ho here. We're just gonna, wait for a petrified proc, and there it is. So 4 petrified frogs at the hands of Tentacles are for Cuddling. Seijin, you just won this map. Congrats.